Call to order at 12:09. Roll call. You got the, you want to do the,
Yeah, we have the signing sheet.
the signing sheet, we do by signing sheet, okay? And we have quorum. Need a motion to approve minutes from last meeting. Turn the back of your agenda.
The front end.
I'm not.
It's on the back of your agenda.
I was not present.
Right.
Which one is that one? I'm sorry.
It's, second page. The agenda.
I didn't get it.
Come on.
I don't believe I got
You
it.
didn't get?
No,
Anyone?
thank you. All right. Mr. Chairman, it looks pretty accurate to me, so I'll make the motion.
Have a motion, need a second? Have a motion and a second to approve minutes as read. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Same sign for nay. Motion carries. Okay, item 4, public comment. Do we have anybody for public comment? Do we have anybody for public comment? One more time, do we have anybody for public comment? Apparently not. Okay, that takes care of that. And item 5, discussion with possible action to review our current utility capital improvement plan and items for approval to date and to provide bond oversight recommendations. Item 1.
Mr. Chairman, if I may ask if we can move the item number 5.2, so we can do a quick presentation, because this will take a long time.
I need a motion to move item 2 up. Second, anybody second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, item 2 to be moved up, 5.2, we didn't speak. Okay, thank you.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we are required by the state to update the water conservation ordinance and the plan. So that's why Marla Castañeda, she is our water conservation planner. She has some proposed changes, so she's just gonna present to the committee
Okay,
and get committee's blessing, so we can take it to council and submit to consider.
Good afternoon. I hope you all enjoy your lunch. Yes, like Mr. Mia mentioned, Texas Water Development Board and Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, they do require that every 5 years we do update our water conservation ordinance and of course the drought contingency plan as well. Also, we do have to submit this report every 5 years, so it is very important that, you know, we comply with these 2 reports for both agencies. We did work on the ordinance, myself. and
Can you zoom in for us, please?
I'm sorry?
Can you zoom in?
I did point out some for
Okay.
you all
Well, I
as
can't see
well.
that right now. See that. Maybe either, you can zoom some more there.
we're at that age.
Alright, okay, so we did work out on some revisions. They're not major revisions, but we did update the information that was outdated, and we did condense information that was very repetitive as well. On this very first section, the purpose of the water conservation plan for the city of for city utilities, this section was shortened to explain in general the purpose of the plan. Some of this stuff is already mentioned throughout the ordinance, so again, it's very repetitive and we wanted to condense it. They're more, like I said, they elaborate more on these sections, on the rest of the ordinance. Now.
So the first one just basically your mission statement.
Yes, correct. And then that's it for this first section. Again, it was mainly condensed. If we go down to section 31, 141.18. This one. It was updated with the water loss and water use targets for the years 2019 through 2029. Like, as you can see, it was outdated with 2014 to 2023, but we updated it with 2019 to 2029, as of course required by state regulation and as the targets submitted to the agencies. That was it for that section. Section 31, 141.19, like in the very first section, they were removed and they're elaborated on the rest of the ordinance. There was a lot of words that were, again, very repetitive, so we condensed it as well. Section 31, 141.20, measuring and accounting for diversions. It was changed. Before it was accurate metering devices, but it was changed to measuring and accounting for diversion as per TCQ requirements. And what I mean by requirements is that here, it's right here, measuring and accounting for diversions. The list right here, it's the list that TCQ requires for us to submit every 5 years, so we have to meet all of these bullet points. I did highlight in your forms in purple the ones that do not apply to the city of Laredo as well. But this from letter A to letter K, all of these have to be in the ordinance. So again, this was changed to measuring and accounting for diversion.
So you can say the updates were to reflect.
Yes, correct, to reflect and of course to meet the requirement. Section 141.21, I apologize, section 141.23, which is
Public education.
Public Education and Awareness Program. We did change here, we did some grammatical changes as well, and we also we condensed this section as well, since again it's discussed more in depth. Okay, and then section 141.27 is the next one. Okay, penalties for violation of the conservation plan. We did remove the part where it says that the funds will be transferred to a water conservation fund, as penalties go straight into the department's account. That was it for that section.
So now they're just in the utility fund?
Yes.
Yeah.
We don't have a water.
So it's a new funding source?
Yeah.
Well, it's, okay, section 141.29. Plan review and update, I removed this section because it is not applicable to
But-
the city of Laredo.
But wait, before you move on that 141.27, I know we have all these fees, the first citation $5, second citation $10.
Correct.
My understanding is we never implemented those, so why even have those? Why not we just leave it as a citation and cite, it goes to the municipal court and let's just decide whatever. Why have this thing? Because we never implemented it.
Okay.
Not as an ordinance?
No, even the ordinance was written, we never put those fees because those are automatically, people cry about it, that's why they never, when Tomas was there, he never put those in the bill. Those bills are automatically, so you get cited, your next month bill, you're already getting these fees. And for me, I think it's better let citizens go before the municipal judge and let judge decide. But that's my opinion, because this is tough to deal with the citizens. Because it's an automatic fee, you're just adding it to their bills. But,
But the purpose of it was to deter, or to,
purpose to deter.
but if they go to municipal court, the fee may be more, collected on one lump sum versus a payout, is that what it is?
No.
The judge basically decides if you go to a ticket, you get a ticket, you go before the judge, and you can show that judge, this is my first time offense, so it never happened, so judge might dismiss the ticket. Or you are a repeated violator, judge might put you the $2,000 violation, say, hey, you have been warned, you have been ticketed 2 times, you
So
know.
what class misdemeanor is it, or what?
This is a,
Because the judge would have to have some jurisdiction over it.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
So
like.
it has to reference a class.
Yeah.
Does it say there what it is?
Class C.
Yes.
Class six misdemeanors or whatever, I think what is that,
Yeah,
maximum
class
$500?
500.
Yeah.
Actually, what we had in the environmental side, because it's tied to is health and safety code, the maximum is $2,000.
So
So
like a
if we-
class C is on,
Yeah.
So then I will go ahead and update that section.
No, we just want committee to, I mean, this is my thing, because these are.
Dictate, yeah. That's why-
Yeah,
that's
I
why
think
I'm
it's
questioning.
better to cite them. First you do warning, written warning, and then you cite them and send it to the municipal. That's why we have 3 judges now.
For discretion, okay.
Yeah, it's for
but
discretion.
it's, how do they know,
Because the ticket does the second offense, third offense.
but it come out of the system or what?
Yeah,
So they know when
yeah,
they go to residents and say, this house has been warned already once?
yes. Because we keep a record, so the inspector knows that this is second time, third time.
Yeah, 'cause I got a warning the other
Next time is the tenth.
day.
Next
One of those sprinkler states.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
I
now
heard
now she
that one.
remembers.
No, it's 1,000, no, it is, like it, no, sprinklers, one set of sprinklers that wouldn't turn on.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got the clock right now, that's 8 o'clock. So it's a constant maintenance, if you have an irrigation system, you just don't want to forget that. I don't see a problem in doing that, I mean, I don't know how the board feels. Do we need to have a motion on that to remove it, or, because it's actually an ordinance, right?
Yes, it's an ordinance. So, because we ask committee to make recommendations, so we can take it to council.
You ought to bring us the ordinance, so we can read the ordinance, make sure that it complies with whatever you put up there.
Okay.
Just
We
make sure.
can get that, the ordinance.
Yes, I actually did bring.
The ordinance is here.
The copies for you, and I did bring the list of requirements by TCQ.
Great.
As well.
Won't put off anything.
As in the ordinance, it say the previous violation shall not be considered if a period of 1 year has elapsed. So last year you got a ticket, that doesn't count.
All right,
Yeah,
so it's within any 12 consecutive months.
yes.
So do we wanna make a motion to take it to council and modify that?
I would like to read the whole plan, I have not read through,
Okay.
you know, in 15 years
Okay.
probably, you know. I'd like to read through it again, just to make sure, see if there's any other changes that are in there that, you know, maybe weren't.
Okay. So we'll just go ahead and make presentation, we'll put it for the next meeting
Yeah.
also. So if you have any changes, we can make the changes. When is our deadline?
Yeah, August 1st.
Okay. We can just do it.
Next one.
You can submit it as a draft, and then we'll council that up. Okay.
And I'll just go ahead and finish with what I have, and then we'll continue on the list. Okay, so, like I mentioned, section 14131, it was a removed section that, because it is not applicable to the city of Laredo, and is also not required by TCQ. I'm sorry, right here. Okay, perfect. And then, I'm gonna move on to section 14133. Section, I did remove the sections that were outdated, so it was for information applying to 2014, so I definitely the stuff that,
Can you stop, Mr. Chairman, if I may? So this document here that's provided TCQ, what reliance does city council have, or you all as utility department have on this? Because I saw, you know, shower head not to exceed 2.5 gallons and stuff. So, other than the fees, how does this pertain to the citizens? Is this document where you would go back and
Because-
reference something, or is it somewhere else?
No, remember, this document went before the Citizens Environmental Advisory Committee in 2014, 13 or 14. At that time, because council wanted to have a water conservation ordinance. So that's why this ordinance, at that time, we just starting it, and it's detailed. Now subsequently, you have the plumbing code, which has all the new water conservation features. So all the new, if you get a new house, new business, everything is water efficient. And so, but when we adopt this ordinance, city did not adopt the new plumbing code yet. So now we have the new codes. So though its ordinance says that, but plumbing code already supersedes this ordinance.
Well, that's what I'm asking, so this document, other than going to TCEQ, how is it important to us or the citizens? Because is somebody gonna rely on this document, or are they gonna rely on the plumbing code?
They're gonna rely on the plumbing code. This ordinance is only applicable when you are overwatering, when we find you the violations of the waste of water. That's pretty much it.
So like right there, a shower head, the maximum flow may
Yeah.
not exceed 2.5 gallons, so is there anything in this document that can enforce that? Or
No.
is it in the plumbing code?
Not really, it's in the plumbing code, because we don't go to people's home
So
and
this
check
is really
their
not.
shower. Yeah,
that's
we
not-
can, and then these are the good point, we can probably just scratch it, say it needs to be new plumbing code, as long as they follow the plumbing code.
No, I'm just equating it to like the wildlife program, you just submit something, here it is, okay, it's on file, but it doesn't,
Does the DC
doesn't
want all
have any
those things?
credence, I guess.
I was gonna
It's there
say,
in their
Maybe
checklist,
you-
transaction
So-
review.
there's ways for this to be able to provide something to that mechanism, instead of it applying towards just the plumbing code, in the sense where you incorporate, it generates business where you can impact a low impact development. Having the requirement in the water conservation plan that businesses install some sort of feature to capture that, I mean, obviously it's a contention between business and whatnot. But this could also provide a mechanism for those types of features, as opposed to it just being a document to abide by. You know, right now, most of the things, like you said, apply to plumbing, but your landscape is not all plumbing. I mean, it is when you get it there, but what happens on the surface impacts runoff, and that's something.
But is it
But
enforceable
there is
with this
a,
document?
there
That's-
is a complete sets of new, different ordinance for landscaping.
So we're applying,
Yes.
that's what you're saying, we're applying
Yeah.
to plumbing.
This is just a water conservation plan. But there is a irrigation ordinance, there is a different sets of landscaping ordinance, which is landscaping, which is, at this moment, it says may, because council at that time never wanted to be shall. Because it's a two-way, remember,
Yeah.
if you tell people not to use water, then
That's right.
that's the revenue. And that's why we based it from 2007 to 2014. Water consumption went down 30%. So whatever the rate increase was done in 2007, they never look at this revenue loss. We using actually same amount of water which we used to produce in 2007. We provide almost 15,000 more customers. If you look at it, our water consumption is like 130, what is this year, 132 gallons per capita. If you look at McAllen, they are still 200. They have no water conservation in McAllen.
Okay, so again, that goes back, so if this document is not enforceable on the public, then I would go ahead and make a motion to adopt the changes and accept it. Line it back and read the whole thing if it doesn't pertain, you know,
Yeah.
if it's not enforceable on anybody.
Only to the utility.
Yeah.
Okay, and then right here, I do wanna mention.
We have a motion on the floor.
Well, I'm sorry, I'll withdraw it till she finishes her presentation.
Okay, so I do wanna mention here that it is a requirement by TCQ to have the plumbing codes here in the ordinance.
Okay.
Number 2. Alright, I'll move on. Okay, the next section would be 14134, the reuse of recycling of water. The very first sentence was removed as it is not applicable to the information in this section. And item number 2, permits are not issued for vehicle wash facilities. The section was updated with the current protocols for meeting this requirement, which is right here. Vehicle wash facilities shall produce at least 50% of water from previous rinses or use less than 50 gallons of water per vehicle being washed. Okay, and then I'll move on here to,
Then that's not enforceable here, right? That's in the other ordinance? Hmm?
that one's in the, which one?
Which one?
The car wash
That one is part of the water conservation. The only
ordinance,
thing-
so,
Yes.
yeah, not enforceable through the document.
No. But the building department, when you go for a new car wash, they do.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so
report.
it's
Yeah.
enforced, not.
Yeah.
Section 141-36, landscape requirements, again, we condensed this paragraph, it's already stated in general, so we made it shorter, it was very repetitive as well. This section right here, section 141-38, waterways prohibited, that is, something that I do want to discuss with, the director and of course you. This section, it was suggested for it to be removed and, placed in a new ordinance.
Which will be enforceable. So I wanna just to have a separate ordinance, just to go and enforce it, because part of the water conservation, when it's not mandatory, you are not enforcing the ordinance. But I wanna have this waste, water waste is an issue, because it deteriorates the streets, so we wanna get rid of this one from the conservation ordinance and create a separate ordinance just for water waste. So you will get cited, you will get written up, any time of the year.
Well, that-
We will,
Like item three, I mean, any sprinkler is gonna trigger item three, no?
yeah,
So how strict is their ordinance
This-
gonna be?
I mean, there is already a new irrigation ordinance which prohibits this kind of activity.
The only thing I think about that is it's looking at it as an individual lot, so if you're requiring every lot to do it, as in the realm of that stormwater runoff, the encouragement is more regional detention ponds as opposed to individual sites, because then who maintains that? You put that back on the utility. It does encourage private development to create this and maintain them, but, you look at New Braunfels and San Antonio tried implementing these both features, and you go and, we would attend these inspections with the Edwards Aquifer Authority, and New Braunfels has them on every single lot, and it's kind of a daunting task, as opposed, they don't even know how many they completely have. In the sense
For
of
what?
paper. This is, you're talking about water runoff from a private property into the city.
This is for irrigation, this is not for stormwater.
So, well, irrigate, but the same thing, after it irrigates, then,
That's what I'm saying, every sprinkler in the city is gonna, some of it's gonna get in the street.
Yeah, but there is some, there are some property, if you look at it, they're irrigating the whole streets and their property.
Oh, I understand, but
Well-
it gets subjective at some point.
On sloped areas, for sure, they're gonna be water runoff.
Yeah, and that's why the new council pushed for the new irrigation ordinance, because the destruction of the streets. So now they are prohibiting in the right of way any kind of head. It has to be shooted to your property, not on
And there's also
street.
like a certain amount of time that it is recommended by the inspectors every time they, encounter this kind of issues. There is a certain, we always tell customers.
They don't even do it more than 10 minutes, you can't get, you can have a quarter inch of water on the ground, so.
Because it's 3 to 5 minutes per section, and that's enough. At least that's how I do it at home, and to me it's enough. My grass is very green. So, we usually recommend, we make those recommendations, we provide,
Don't try
education.
at my house.
But we've seen people that, let the sprinkler system there for an hour, 2 hours, and
And by the way, we love customers like you, sir.
What I'm saying, I make up for the rest of them,
I think, I just to kind of, continue down that topic, it looks like, I completely agree, and, we all see the issues with runoff going onto the city streets, but it almost feels like it's jumping way ahead of it, as, I understand drip irrigation, that's gonna be a good one, but is this what we're saying that's gonna be the final say on it?
No, he said he wants to do another ordinance.
And-
Yeah.
Okay.
So when we do another ordinance, we will struck this section, and we'll bring that ordinance to you. This is so we can submit to the state saying, yes, we have but we will craft a different ordinance just to enforce it. Because it's, we have public works in one side, screaming at, hey, destroying the street. And here I am, I said, hey, we don't have shortage of water, I need to sell more water, so Marla, don't issue citation.
But see, her comment about her yard being flushed with 5 minutes irrigation means that she has good soft sandy loam. I've got hard clay and the water does not seep in. So the grass has tendency of drying up like that. So you invest money on the grass and everything else, the trees and foliage. I've got 8 pecan trees. In 5 minutes, I'll be dead this summer. So,
Well,
your
clay,
situation is different than mine.
clay, if you put water on clay, it'll shut down, it'll be like
Yeah.
this surface,
Yeah,
and it'll
run
go,
right off.
water will run
But
off.
at the same time, if you put 10 minutes, that's not gonna help. So what you probably need to do 5 minutes now, in 2 hours from now, another 5 minutes.
It's already evaporated, so you haven't, whatever you tell me, I can count it, because I've been around water all my life.
Well,
And
here's what I,
sandy loam, close to the
Go ahead.
river, away from the river, rocks and clay, and it does not take water. Yeah.
here's what I have that completely eliminates water
No,
runoff.
we need to get
Yeah.
going, I'd like to,
Okay.
but just to address your point, that you irrigate that much, go to my house and watch what happened with one sprinkler head that didn't work in 4 days, that I didn't know was irrigated, it's a dry spot.
No, not only that,
Yeah.
it's the actual, all the minerals in the water block up your heads,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, right now, this morning I cleaned all the heads and started cleaning the house because they're all full of some kind of black gunk, which means that they've been working on the water lines and all this stuff, all the shavings are coming down that line and all our heads are clogging up. And I don't see the city sending somebody to my house to go clean it, I'm doing it myself. When my wife started complaining. So, wife complains, I fix it. But that's what I'm talking about, every
We need to raise
situation.
the water rate again.
Yeah,
Do
right.
that service.
Now I'm getting water with rubber in it, so it's real good. But,
Polyethylene.
yeah, do I have a case? But what I'm saying is, not every situation should be graded the same, and that's what I'm trying
That's
to.
what I'm saying. You don't want it to be subjective.
Yeah.
That's the only thing, you gotta be very careful. One person goes and they see a little children and they say, oh, no, I'm gonna cite you, and the other one goes and it's running, saying, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
Don't do it again.
Yeah,
That's what you don't wanna be.
the variables are too great in order to prove that I'm watering too much versus you're not watering enough. So,
Just to be cognizant of that.
yeah. All right, continue.
All right, where we were in,
You even got vehicle fundraisers.
Right.
all right, then I'll go ahead and move to the.
I don't know why,
To section one.
No more car wash for the high schoolers.
Yeah, all right.
Section 41, it was removed since it was repeated twice, so it was not necessary there again.
Let's see, what do you say about water wells?
Excuse me?
And then from provisions of the jury, except they approve from other water. Okay.
Alright, and then, section 31, 14181, this is the drought contingency plan. This section over here for public involvement, I did condense it, and I put more general, it was just changed to general information. It was, the city of Laredo will periodically provide the public with information about the plan, including information about the conditions under which each stage of the plan is to be initiated or terminated, and the drought response measures to be implemented in each stage. This information will be provided by means of public events, press releases, bill inserts, and news. And then this information was outdated.
Go ahead, since now we have a utility advisory committee, go ahead and insert that we will provide period, probably quarterly report to the utility advisory committee, because these are the public committees.
And last thing that, it was changed here was, the part over here is Exhibit A, approved low water plants list for Laredo. I do wanna keep the list, however, I don't think it's necessary for it to be here in the ordinance. I was thinking that it could be added as an attachment, electronic attachment for people to have access to, the approved low water plan.
That's in an ordinance?
Yeah.
Yes, and it actually occupies 14 pages.
Yeah, that's why I said this ordinance is too big. It's a 70-page document. No, let's cut it. These are
So,
the,
what happens if you don't have an approved one versus an approved one?
These are only recommended, recommended
why-
low water plan, yes.
that's why we take
Oh, you
it
put it in
out.
an ordinance?
Yes, so I was thinking that maybe we could just add it as an attachment and for people to have
You
access
should
to
just
it
have that on the
Feel good,
website.
look good, feel good type deal.
on the
I
website.
guess, take up space.
You know, people are really not gonna look at the scientific names of every plant and, you know, so we think that, you know, it was irrelevant.
Some of
here.
us are into that, I'll tell you that.
No, I'm saying, we can put it on the website.
Yeah, I know, I get it off the ordinance.
Yeah.
So, that would be it for the ordinance. Those are all.
Well, you go to some of these flower places, and they don't go that. We call it something else.
You wanna renew your motion?
So,
Yeah, that's it. I would go ahead and, make the motion to approve the document as amended, including Mr. Rios' comments so far as deleting the fees and then adding the, advisory council being updated accordingly.
Do I hear a second? Do I have a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. I will leave here the revisions, that way if you feel like you need to review them, that way you guys can have them as well. It does come with the sections and the revisions that were made.
So we keep these copies?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank
Why
you.
don't you send us a clean copy?
Yes, actually, I'll ask Rhea for your emails. If you prefer email, then I'll go ahead and send those over to you.
You got everybody's right? I noticed. Now the fun stuff.
Sorry for all these.
now the fun stuff.
Thank you so much.
So we'll go back to number one?
Yes, let's go back to number 151, discussion plus possible action to review our current utility capital improvement plan and items for approval to date and to provide bond oversight recommendations.
Okay, this came straight from the council motion, because the councilman has this item, and then there was discussion. They want this committee to look at the bond issues, which is for the 5-year capital improvement program, which we used to do the rate increase. But at the same time. they
5 years, not
also-
10 years.
5 years. And, they also wanted to look at, because we are going out to update the master plan, to get the committee involved on the master plan. From the master plan, you will have another 40-year of capital improvement program that they need. And the biggest issue was, as you can see on the rate increase, was there are, some people are demanding to have impact fees.
Well, I think, if I may, I think you gotta go back and look, you know, not only this, you have to look at all the fees that are being paid.
Yes.
I mean, I always thought we had the fees in place to sustain the growth, and apparently it's not so,
No, it's not. We do have some fees. We have annexation fees, we have water availability fees. But those fees are substantial, but since the citizens really doesn't know those fees, and so they look at it, oh, every city has impact fee, why we don't have impact fee? And as you probably know, we had tried to do the impact fee in 2005, 2007, but at that time, the developers were not agreeable to the impact fee, and city did not go through. I saw there was impact fee committee, advisory committee, there was some meetings, I saw notes, and
Well, you know, it just struck me, it's kind of, going back to what you said earlier. They have all these fees in place, water availability fees, everything. Our consumption has gone down, and other than your bond rate just being out of whack with the 200 or whatever, 100 and something million you borrowed, everything else has gone down. So why are we out of money?
Why we out of money? Because the rate increase when it was approved, they were projecting to invest $200 million. We have invested close to $500 million.
In what though?
All this system. Look at your El Pico is $100 million.
Well, that wasn't.
Your South Laredo sewer plant is $100 million. Your North Laredo sewer plant was $20 million. And all the infrastructure, the water
Okay,
line.
so again, going back to, I don't know what's transpired since 2006 roughly, but at the time all those were included, it was just Jefferson. It was gonna be the secondary source of water, and it was gonna be the South Laredo plant. I don't remember what was proposed for South Laredo. But Jefferson was fully funded, no, that was a grant?
Yes, Jefferson
Okay.
was funded, that's why they shifted those money to start building El Pico.
Yeah, and then the monies for, I don't remember how much it was gonna be for the South Water Treatment Plant. So,
Because the monies were estimated are significantly lower than what we invest. I can tell you that even El Pico was estimated to spend $60 million. North Florida sewer treatment plant was estimated was $7 million. So all of those
and you
things,
spent what?
about 15, double. The estimate was not right. One of the thing, I think at that time we were not doing it because if you look at the capital improvement program, every year they just move it. Nobody updates the cost. And that's the problem. Even the Manadas, we are estimating $52 million, but with the tariff on steel and thing, I have a feeling it's gonna be higher. I talked to Judge, I keep looking at it, but we don't.
What is the construction, 3% a year, 5% a year?
Yeah.
Big cost?
About 3.5.
But those numbers were never, I mean, even all the capital improvement program, nobody
Or in
really
the-
goes and updates those costs. It just, let's push it, oh, we don't have funding, let's push it for next year. That's how the CIP is done. AD is not really done, like sit down and go through each CIP and update the numbers.
If you look at construction costs, what's going on with residential costs right now? We're selling houses at $147 a square foot. 1,000 square foot home for 145. 1,000 square
A
foot.
lot of that has to do with land availability though, right?
Yeah, but still.
But even considering the capital improvement plan, that's, key to maintaining your infrastructure. Everybody talks about, we're building more and more, but my concern is what are we maintaining, your sewer and your water? I mean, those are vital to your quality of life, the way you live, first world, right? We all want that water and waste. But if we're not taking it serious that we have to maintain our infrastructure, then, I mean, what good is it to say that we want more, There just has to be a mechanism that we're accounting for these things that we're replacing, because we're all spending money. I mean, we all.
That's what I'm saying, you gotta go back and look at everything, you can't just look at and say, all right, we need a water rate to pay for the bond,
For
no.
what we've been missing out on.
Because the maintenance, that became glaringly apparent when United Water got here. And then they found out, they're like, oh shit.
This is a real deal.
That's exactly what
They paid $3 million to leave.
Yeah.
Because there was no maintenance,
Yeah.
all that stuff that they're fixing now was gone at the time they said it.
Yeah.
Uh,
20 years ago.
How much has been done in the Heights area?
We-
That was already said, it was gone back then.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think we've replaced a couple of streets.
We replaced, three street, Lane, Galveston, and, that's it.
All the Heights is right.
We still have 30%.
Del Mar's right, I guarantee,
Oh,
Del Mar's probably ready to go.
Yeah.
We have 30% water line, which is close to 300 miles, are more than 40-year-old. And we don't have money for that. That CIP doesn't include.
But I'm saying, why not? Somebody's gotta, and I'm not blaming you, just saying, somebody's gotta back up and say, we gotta look at the whole picture. You can't just look at what's gonna go forward.
Mhm.
Because whoever's gonna build that next house can't pay for everything that was done, that wasn't maintained. You just can't put it on one person. But You know, the guy who's been paying the water year in, year out, and it's like, okay, I thought I was paying sewer fees, I thought I was paying this, so.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that money was
Reallocated.
reallocated, and also it was, as I say, I just find out that I have some pumps, believe me, they are 59-year-old pump, still running. But I told the guys, okay, why these pumps are not on the replacement program?
Because they're running.
So it's running.
Because it's running.
God damn, it's
But they
dirt.
were on the replacement program. United Water put them all on the replacement program. And they identified every single pump, there should be, that document should be somewhere. And it tells you what pump needs to replace, because you know, just your energy savings alone on the pumps would probably pay for those pumps.
Yeah, and that's why we found out, because we have Honeywell came and started looking at it, but they said, I can do energy saving just to just to do VFD, because this pump can be replaced. And when you replace the pump, you cannot have energy performance, because you have to put the capital down. So they are finishing it. I mean, it's surprisingly, those pumps are 59-year-old. Some of them we rehab in 2005, it's running. Here we have El
And you
Pico
got
pumps, are
brand new and not running.
Already in 3 years, I repaired all of them at least 2 times.
So we call that pump manufacturer back in, that's a solid pump.
Because it's all mechanical. Now you have so much electronics on it, the damn thing fails. But those are some of, I mean, I'm gonna start putting in the CIP, so that's why if council, and I told some of the council, you think that 180 million is, I'm not even talking about replacement of water line. That 300-mile water line is another close to about $200 million.
I was gonna say million a mile, probably.
Yeah. But nobody wants to listen to
Well,
those.
nobody wants to do anything about it till there's water gushing out in the middle of the street. But then they wanna go open just to hold and fix that one spot. But it's like my house and my sewer system. I've got a house that's almost 50 years old, well, I think it's 50. It's cast iron. And the plumber would come up there and ream it out, and it worked for a couple, 2-3 days and stop up again. And then one plumber came in there and hit it, and he pulled us it, the pipes, and had to dig under the house. So, do I just fix that, or do I say, hey, while you're there, fix all of it? And that's what's the cost, and that's what we're doing here, we're.
If you have money, yes, you fix all of
And I
it.
did, all right? But again, if I don't, then I have to reopen right where I opened, and so, that's what I'm saying, this is the mentality, I used to work for the phone company, same thing, if it's work, leave it alone. You couldn't touch the wires, they fall apart, so don't touch them. You know, and then the edict changes, it's because of cost, because now you've got to rebuild whole areas. And to go in there and plow behind his house, my house, or in Del Marcy, or in Regency, or in TR, they don't want you there, but you have to do it, or the company eats you up, and that's where we're at right now. And I don't know if the city council understands that, because
No, they don't.
their edict is not that. I'm not gonna get into politics right now, because it'll take another hour, but the bottom line is, who, where, and when do we address them, and they listen to us? I
You
mean,
know, all we can do is address them, and try to address the full problem, push it back on them, and then they're gonna make a political decision, you know, because
Exactly.
obviously you're gonna take the city manager, and he's gonna
Yeah.
take cuts and stuff to be able to do the bond
Yeah.
series the way it needs to be done. And you structure it, and you say, all right, we're gonna borrow 100 million this year, we're gonna borrow 100 million every 3 years, you know, and stage this program. But if you don't look at it and think, and you say, well, we need a water increase to pay for this bond,
Yeah.
you're not doing anything.
And those are, I'm glad that you guys are seeing that way, but the reality of it, nobody wants to listen to, what? It's
Nobody
like
wants to
downtown,
listen to reality.
think that downtown, probably all the infrastructure came with Captain Thomas Sanchez.
Yeah.
We don't even have line, it's a hole in the
Yeah,
ground.
it's just a hole in the ground. Oh, we do that.
And so, but every day I got screamed at, oh, well, you guys are digging up the whole downtown. Yes, you want me to replace all the water and sewer line. And I cannot
It's
even
like
hire a contractor.
every time a transformer blows up downtown, and they're in those manholes, and it takes them 5 days to do it, and they wonder, why couldn't they do it faster? Because one thing leads to another. And I used to have to deal with those manholes with the phone company, and I mean, I give you a history, and that's why I know that you have to have a program, whether you need to do it or not, you do it, because you're gonna have to, and when you have to, it's more costly than when you have to do a program. And so if we're gonna be here and tell the city council, this is what needs to be done, where do you start? Del Mar, whole area, Del Mar area is 50 years old. The height is what, 75, 80?
No.
100? 100? Where do you start, right? And so,
But, you know, though, there is two-edged sword, because though those water lines are 50, 60-year-old, but you don't see those lines are popping everywhere. There is certain section of the line because the soil,
right.
and those steel pipe, and we didn't realize, now we know, if there is a gas line close by, it just eats away because the cathodic protection. See, these lines never had cathodic protection. So that's why we've been looking at it, because I can tell you, when I first came in here, we had like 10 project designs on Heights area, some other area. And we did Galveston. So I look at the line and say, when they're cutting the pipes, these pipes, though are 40-year-old, still in excellent shape. But there would be 2 blocks, the pipes are like honeycomb. I said, why are we replacing the 20 block? So now what we're doing it, I told my guys, every time there is a line break, go ahead and replace a whole section of a pipe, 20 feet. And let's see how it goes. And at the same time, of course, people don't like it, we lower the pressure to PSI. You will be surprised that 2-3 PSI, you can stop a lot of pipe bursting.
And what about, have you done the, what's the word, imaging or where the gas lines go? So you said, all right, here, they're running parallel, so we're gonna, it doesn't have that, what's cathodic protection?
What
You
we
could-
did with the GIS, and now we have last 10 year data, what the line burst, and we're putting in the GIS, say, this is the section, last 5 years, we have so many breaks, let's go ahead and replace this line.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if you know there's a gas line in the area, you're probably gonna know that you're gonna have to replace it because of that.
Yes,
and that happens to the phone company also, on the trunk cable. When you parallel the gas line in the right of way, because we go this one, they go that way. That section there, the shields in that telephone cable turn to powder because they were aluminum. They just disintegrate. And we
You
don't
can
wire
ground
those
that,
in there.
no? I mean, you can charge it, no? They put a charge to it, don't they?
yeah, but those are the new pipeline, like, but the older ones, you don't have any cathodic protection.
There's passive and there's active. You have an impressed cathodic protection system, and that's where you have you have it impressed on, and then you have the mag anodes that go ahead and get eaten up to protect the infrastructure. So yeah, you have those two. And mag anodes are still perfectly acceptable in technology and still in use today, depending on the value of the asset you're trying to
That's
protect
right.
as well.
Right.
So.
Yeah, no, we went through all that.
Rectifiers are the devices that are in place for the impressed
So,
cathodic.
going back to what Commissioner's question, do we account for those maintenance? Yes, we do, but we don't do 100% because we know we could never go it. If you look at the $180 million bond, of that 74% is for existing system. We have to do line tank. Those tanks are built and it's been leaking. One of them is empty for last 20 years. Because it never hold the water. So now I'm going, so why have this tank? Let's demo it, put a new one, because we do need the water storage.
Yeah.
And of course, the growth, you gotta also provide the water. So people saying, okay, because of the growth, why you building in Cuatro Vientos? Why we need to build a 10 million gallon storage tank? The developer should pay for it. No.
But
Because
you
that
can't
tank.
go inside and line that tank?
No, we have tried so many different, I don't know how many millions because apparently the engineer now we have told this tank, especially the north one, was built on the field dirt. And it was never built
So
right.
It
So it just,
expands.
the bottom just separated from
Yeah.
that. And so
Oh.
you can do all kind of coating, still
It's
you
gonna
shift it.
Yeah, it's gonna shift them.
So now we have a project because we have the south tank is also leaking. We have a violation from TCEQ because of the leak. So now we hired an engineer. We're gonna do a wrapping up the tank to protect the tank, and do a retaining wall between these two, and demo the north tank, build a new tank, and then go and demo the south tank, and build another one. But that's money. You're looking at $10-12 million.
Yeah, easy.
And, yeah, people scream at it, but in utility, anything we do is millions of dollars. Nothing is cheap. It takes almost $100,000 per block to replace water line. Cause I gotta rebuild the whole street, you gotta basically do everything.
So that's $1.6 million per block.
That's what we spend at the Galveston and Lane Street, and now probably is even higher. Now that's why we stop it, so we have no money. Mall Del Norte, the line is built in 71, when the mall was built. So we never,
So how do you wanna move forward? I mean, are we just gonna do a patch again and say, this is what the money we need just to provide for the bond? Or are you gonna raise the rate again to such a level that conservation, kicks in even further and you don't get the revenues you get?
and those are the discussion, I think, we need to have it here. That's why we are going out to hire a consultant to update the master plan and come up with a new plan and some numbers. Because the numbers we have is already 6-year-old. And that number is close to $700-800 million. Now it's gonna be even higher. But nobody wants to hear those. These.
I think I better move.
No, I mean, and I'm sure county and your side, you guys are facing the same issue.
We got the black hole over there in Rio Bravo.
We have black holes everywhere. And now it's just. And
This is a conversation that I had with my chief of staff and vice president, regional vice president with Salvos when I got to Laredo in 1983 about our phone system. Back then, a drizzle would knock out the whole communications line. It took me 20 years to rebuild it, and now it needs to be rebuilt again. So it's a never-ending process, mechanical.
No, it's not.
Deteriorate, yeah.
I mean, the system usually, any infrastructure, now the new pipes last almost 40 years. But previously it lasts 30 years. 30 years goes fast.
Mhm.
When I came to Laredo, I'm almost 25 years. I could not even believe.
I was a kid
So
when I
the-
got here. I had
The stuff we put it in 2000, in 93, 94, it's about to be replaced.
Again, how do you want us to proceed? What do you want, how do we?
At this moment, I think we need some data, but we also want you guys to put it in. Let's look at this one, so, because for us to go before council, it is very tough, they don't wanna listen. But that's why at least they give you some charge, say, come up with it. If they don't wanna listen, that's a different issue. But at least you did your job, we did our job, and the citizens cannot come and say, oh, we didn't know. All of a sudden, you came up with the rating.
But I wanna have some teeth in this debate that we're gonna handle. Because, I mean, I know you've been going up to city council for 3-4 years, talking about South Laredo and the sewage problem and everything else. And you walked up there not too long ago, and it was like, what? We never heard about this. Well, no, you have new people on the seats. But it's just like, I'm here 8 years and I'm gone and I forgot about it.
Yeah, I got the solution. You buy Rio Bravo and you can do all your expansion right there. We're good. We'll make it work.
But
Don't you cheap.
see, we have
We
a
traded,
clear that.
if county take over El Pico, well,
Shut it down.
But you see, that's what I'm getting at, that, Mr. Gale there, he's got a lot of knowledge, because what you're talking about, he's talked about already 20 years ago. Shit, what was it? How long ago was
He
it?
used to be the chairman of the water issues
Yeah.
committee of the council, so.
But that's what I said, we have a lot
I'm
of
glad
knowledge
he's here.
here, and a lot of us got know this
And
stuff.
I'm sure he's gonna
realize-
get frustrated because all the issues they talked about
Oh, here
10,
we go.
15 years ago, still we talk about it. Isn't it right?
So I guess now, what can we do differently, right?
Well, again, you know, he's saying we got teeth, we have no teeth.
Yeah.
It's, they get to vote, and I see yes, and if you can't, you know, it's just, they're just gonna kick the can down, take the can down. You can do impact fees, which is not really fair to the developer, because they're not paying for the land, they're paying to fix the old stuff.
Yeah.
You know, either we weren't charging, or there was always diverting, you know, shifting the monies. You know, so now we can see like the money's gonna go into the utility fund, it's not gonna go into that little slush fund, so.
But the new utilities being built are bigger, better, and greater than what they were.
You know, bigger and more expensive. You
Yeah.
don't know what greater.
But, well, but there should be probably a 100-year plan on some of the stuff they're going to do.
No, but I mean, you're looking at the example, it said, he's already built those pumps twice, there's 3 pumps, they've already built each one.
Yeah.
And we got the pumps over here, 59 years
How
old.
many times do you want to be stalled out in the middle of the ranch because it didn't change out the battery, you just kept recharging it, right? And that's the same process, you know?
No, I mean, those pumps should last 40 years.
Yeah, yeah, and they've lived there
I
long.
mean, they need to be maintained, and there's services, a service schedule for them and everything, but to be out,
Yeah.
they're $1 million pumps, and they go out the first year, you know.
And every time it goes out, it costs me another $500,000 because I got rental unit. I have to bring rental unit and I have to fix the pump. And I mean, I hope from this
I
lawsuit.
think you have an answer for
we
that,
will.
right? Turn the switch.
Yeah.
No, I'm afraid, I told them, cause they told me they were thinking of bailing on the lawsuit because it's gonna be so expensive. I said, I'd rather spend money on that and stop this gouging that they've been doing in the city.
Yeah.
Because it was bad. They gouged bad. I mean, they were the developer, the engineer, the contractor, it was all basically one person.
Well, what I'd like for us to accomplish at least is to have a plan, present it, but not let them forget about it.
Why don't we come up with a statement as a committee that Mia can take back to council and present on our behalf? And tell them that we need more data, that we feel that, you know, the problem we have or the task that we have been given is something that is a result of kicking the can down the street. And
Well,
tell them
that's-
we're a little bit kind of perplexed with the plan that they, or the mission that they have given us. That we feel we cannot adequately address that because it's part of a bigger problem. Is there
But I think he's ready to give us the data, all we just need to request it, right? You have all the data, right?
Yeah. I mean, we can provide you the old data. We
It's just a
need
matter of
to
what we
update
wanna
it.
look at.
Update it.
Yeah.
Update the old data. Still the same problem.
So what do you wanna see next meeting? You want me to present you the master plan, the old data? And so you have an idea, this was in 2014, this is the master plan cost for next 40 years investment.
Well, yours is a 10-year CIP, right? And then.
It has 40 years.
Oh, 40
And we
years.
develop 5-year CIP from that.
Yeah, and then we need all the impact fees, all the fees that are generated through the system, and saying what it is, and then, I don't know anymore, do you know all what the costs to generate a lot nowadays? I've been out of the loop so long, I don't know what it costs.
We found out, because since we don't have impact fee, the water availability goes strictly to by the water rights. The other fees we have, it is the annexation fees, which is the two mostly fees for new developers. We bring in anywhere between $400,000 to $500,000.
Well, your water availability, I know it goes to water rights, but we should have an excess there, no?
No,
Why not?
because remember, the water availability fee was never raised from 83 until I raised it in 96. From 83, we are paying $700.
Yeah.
We start paying $3,000.
$3,000 you make a foot.
So whatever the fund was, it just eats away. We used to have a lot of money on the fund balance. But
But I thought you had like 40 or 50,000 acre feet surplus now that you do not use a year.
No, altogether, we have 62,000 acre feet. Last summer, we used maximum 48,000 acre feet. So we don't have,
And then the regeneration, the return to the river, do we get credit now or not?
no, we still don't get credit. But those are some of the things we are looking at, especially as you know, council is
Do
looking
you
at.
have to, if I remember right, you had to regenerate some to the river, right? Was there a percentage?
I don't believe we have to.
I thought there was a percentage by the water master.
No, because now we don't get any credit from water master for dumping the river. So next time when we do permit renewal, those are some of my deal will be, if I give you 10 million, can I get couple of million from the river? But at this moment, it doesn't say it. The permit just says is going to,
Because I thought, 'cause then you could look at least maybe selling your excess water rights availabilities downstream to the farmers in McAllen and Mission and Edinburgh and all those. And try to get credit for some of those, so at least you generate some kind of income. I mean, that may be
Yeah.
minimal, I don't know what the,
is in Valley, water rights are leased probably like $30, $40 per acre feet. That's not, because you're raising to the farmers.
yeah, but when there isn't any.
And
No, I didn't know if there was just something to see about, but, because, you know, you can put the impact fees to where, you know, that same house is gonna cost you $250. You know, so, at what point do we say no more expansion? Or do we abandon the old section? What do we do? I mean, you gotta
now
have.
the new push is to redevelop the older section. That means, and that's one of the thing I told
But then
council,
you're
what
gonna
do you
have
think to redevelop old section? We have to redevelop, reinvest on those sections.
infrastructure, yeah.
All the infrastructure is there, yeah, but it's 50-year-old. Those are some of the things that.
150 years old.
Yeah. See, the comp plan is a nice thing. It doesn't have any dollar amount to it. Yeah, you wanna redevelop the entire Heights area, how much you gonna invest on that?
Maybe we should do that, is base it off of reality. We know what we have in the water, what we propose to council is that, you know, we're basing our decisions off of reality. Although the comp plan might not reflect what's based here, then now we have to make that compromise, you know. We're posing the data that these are the hot spots that we anticipate might go because of their parallel to gas lines, and then we just go based off of just data and let council.
And also look at as a business perspective, because we are enterprise fund. I go to an older neighborhood, I replace a water line. I invest $3 million. Did I get a new customer? No. Did they use more water? No. So what is my return?
But see,
And there should be a criteria.
yeah, that is the consequential question that people don't understand. That this is actually a business to generate revenues to maintain the plant, all right? And unlike the other things, the better the phone company got, the more money we made, the data we went down and all that. Here, it doesn't matter, like you just said, this whole neighborhood, they're still gonna consume $20 at the minimum, what is per month. They're never gonna consume more, so your return is never gonna be there. So, do you say,
Well,
forget about that area and let's go do it over here because I spend more money? It just doesn't.
And those are
Yeah.
council needs
Yeah.
to also decide that, yes, this is the focus, this is the area we're gonna focus on. So if it's like last 10 year, utility just invested more than $10 million in downtown. Did we bring any new business other than the mall?
No. No.
Nothing.
No, but I mean, you have to look at it the opposite way. You have to look at it, you know, on your revenue side, you really have to, I guess, like depreciation, where you're saying, okay, my revenue should be going down with the age of the equipment. But it's not. So as the age gets older, your revenue's actually getting more. So you're making $20 on something you haven't spent a penny on in 50 years. So sometimes you have to go back and say, all right, now I gotta replenish that line so I can continue to make that $20 or $100 or whatever it is, you know?
Yeah, if in theory, that works, but that $20, you already spending that
No,
money
no,
on
because
somewhere else.
Because
Oh, this is my money.
because it's subsidized something
Yes.
else,
Yeah.
and that's the problem, it's subsidizing something, what are we subsidizing?
That's the part, is there's no accountability for the money that was taken, that was, should have been spent, so, it's like that, when you go to the fridge and you live with roommates, you were expecting to have that there, and then you get there and somebody ate your stuff. And it's like, well, it was a communal fridge, it's a communal purse, so they went and took your stuff.
Yeah, whatever revenue we generate, 5% up to now, because the general fund is even shorter. This year it might go up. 5% automatically goes to general fund.
The big purse.
But why?
No, administrative fee.
Huh?
Administrative fee.
Well, I mean, if you're an enterprise fund, and you're paying your overhead, you won't really have it, I mean.
But that's how,
Tell them, look at it then.
that's how general fund is surviving. Bridge system taking away 70%.
Yeah,
Solid waste, utilities.
but I'm saying, but see what, and it goes back to the bigger picture, since the city probably hasn't really been in a tight squeeze for a long time, it's allowed them to get very loose. And they probably need to really tighten it, and this, remember, the revenue cap's passed. City's gonna be in tough
Oh,
shape.
yeah.
They're gonna be a lot worse shape than the county is.
That's why we probably don't have
And,
too many people who wants to be the city manager. Cause he know what's coming.
28 applicants, wasn't there? A lot of that.
But so I think, that upper echelon needs to be really tightened up, and it's, that pyramid's gotta be shrunk.
But the question is how you tighten up without cutting police and fire. It's like the national debt.
Well,
How you cut the debt
you
without?
don't cut police and fire, but you don't do the contract they just did either.
Yeah, I mean, something needs to be done. You are saying you are the poorest, we are the poorest community in the state, the poorest county.
And even
But
though
we
it's
have
not-
we have the highest salary for police and fire.
Yeah, good negotiators.
And the best contract. That's
No
the
problem,
time
they have good negotiators. No, that's good.
And we're changing city manager every year and giving them $500,000 to walk out.
I like to be a city manager, before I retire again.
Is this,
All right.
is the work you're doing now with replacing water lines, is there any money available at the Texas Water Development Board for such a project?
No, we don't qualify for any grant. We qualify for loan. And now I've been told the board just voted, we used to be they will consider the junior lien. The board just voted, no, they will now be the senior lien. That means the bond coverage has to be higher than the junior lien. This is just happened last month. Water Development Board decided, hey, we're giving money, why should we the junior loan? So,
I mean, it's really gonna be a critical question on, but how Laredo expands in the future, because I think this can really put a clamp
yeah.
on everything.
Water and sewer availability.
Especially and people.
And it's always been the problem here.
Yeah, and unfortunately, people compare us to McAllen. McAllen is a square, 30 square mile, square block. We have lakes all the way to 83. We have all the way to Columbia, so we have like hands growing this one. It costs more money.
Yeah, when I saw that map, I thought it was a lake.
And so the deal is we have to start with a master plan.
No, that's why, when I saw that map before I go, I said, is that Falcon Lake?
That's effectively our municipal water supply,
Yeah.
service area.
That is, it's nuts.
I think the point of the master plan being brought into reality check with what we can provide, because if we have these strong ambitions to say, yeah, we want to be so-and-so, but we have to, it's gonna cost us twice, I guess just having a reality check, you can do, what is it, a matrix multiplication with your GIS and kind of the availability of places where the growth wants to go, and it's just gonna put a price tag to everything and understanding what it's gonna cost, and if we lay that all out, I think at least the citizens will be informed
Yeah,
what they have beneath them.
the issue we have been, because the growth is happening on the northern part and western part. all the infrastructure, your plan is at the river, that means you gotta extend all the way to, that's why there are some people came in on Mile Marker 18, as you can see, there is a new truck. And they came, they talked to us, they said, we need water line. I said, no, I'm not gonna extend 5-mile water line, then I have to flush it, just for one truck stop, no?
This is actually water and sewer, effectively our service area for water and sewer, so.
So if you build it, I mean, you have to build it overbuild. That means if you don't have customer, then I gotta go flush the line, flush the water. Millions of gallon water, I have to flush it because to meet the TCQ regulation. And that's the problem, what do you do? But if you don't build it, the people cannot come and develop that area.
You can do calculations on population, if you know about demographics and whatever, you can kind of extrapolate how big you're gonna be. But that's all theory. Where the heck are they going to be?
Yeah.
That's the whole question. We need to look at our development and really analyze and have somebody to analyze where the growth is and where we see plats coming in and whatnot to help us to
It's
try to stay
not
on
even
top of it.
that, it's the annexation.
Okay.
I mean, I think council seriously need to stop saying, okay, all the new annexation, we gotta do really numbers, because now, we don't do any numbers. Okay, if somebody wants to annex 1,000 acres, we really don't know how much it's costing us. Yeah, we might collect $1 million revenue on tax, but it might costing us $10 million.
And it's having those price points, those, if we do invest this, at least we know down the line this.
We have no cost for police and fire, only cost we provide is the utility, but nobody else has any cost provided. What is it gonna cost us for public works, to provide for garbage collection, and all those things. And so people are annexing, yeah, we're getting new people, but yeah, you're making $500,000, but you're spending $5 million. Then soon they're gonna say, oh, I need a new police substation, I need a new fire station.
So we've been talking like going this road and that road and road that, So then it's up to you to set up that master plan, right? At least
What
in
we
subject.
can do, we have the old master plan, because now we are just going out for request for proposal to hire a consultant to update the master plan. But I can present that one for next council meeting, which is 5-year-old, and you can see what they looked at it on that water and sewer master plan, and the dollar amount, and whatever the amount is, you can easily multiply by 1.3 times. And so it's gonna be close to $900 million.
But it's no different, because we're going in all different directions, I understand, because that's the way Laredo laid out. But it's like when you're at city council and they wonder why you weren't approving plats. It's like, we have a problem, right? No? And I suggested to my appointee that we need to have some maybe little workshops with the city councilman, and Mr. Benavides here said for us to email them and keep them in the loop. And I think that's something that we need to really do, because they're not informed, believe me, they're not informed. Their idea of being a city councilman is probably getting in trouble is entirely different than what it's supposed to be. They're not administrating the city.
That's absolutely right.
And so when you take a problem like this, it's like, so, And then when we say it's gonna take $200 million to do it, they go, what? So it's just like we're behind the movie screen, right? And they're in front of it and they don't know where it's all coming from. So I think that's one of the biggest things we gotta do to inform, to keep them in the loop. Maybe
Maybe
a
a
little
tour of the-
presentation. I know that you don't wanna get beat up by yourself all the time. I went out there the other day and I wasn't prepared really to talk to them in any manner, shape or form, but just to let them know that we're there and we're ready to go to work and do what we need to do. But, we need to act.
I think we should invite them to the workshops or tours of these facilities. I mean, maybe some of them haven't even seen a site like this and.
I can't make any comment about them.
Yeah.
Some of them don't even wanna show up to city council meetings.
But at least we can make them accountable, say, hey, they were invited, make it somewhat public.
Mr. Mia,
Go ahead.
if you talked about a master plan, it seems that I always hear the word master plan for a city, but how is it chopped up? Because we have, let's say utilities in general, but you have water, you have electrical, you have gas, and some of them have required different problems that require different solutions, because the solutions for water are not the same as electrical. I
No,
was at
the
last
master plan
council-
I'm talking about, it is, see, utilities, we do master plan for water and wastewater. We have environmental services, they do master for all the drainage master plan. And so each department, planning does the projection of the land use master plan. And now we have this Viva Laredo plan. Hopefully, they will bring some of these master plan together. And I will be very frank with you, every department does master plan. We present it to council, yeah, go ahead and do it, and then it just sits on the shelf collecting dust. And as the director or some people left, nobody even know where it is.
It's collecting those, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. They have 8 years to accomplish things, but if we don't give them the task, I guess that's where I was going. If we don't give them the task to complete in their tenure of 8 years, they get reelected, then it's never gonna get off the ground. And a new group will come in, and a new bunch of people will be sitting here, and they'll come up with the same ideas and take it to them, and because it doesn't happen from one day to the other. Nothing happens in administration. Might be a year and a half, 2 years before the first shovel hits the ground, before it's funded and everything else. So
It's-
what can we do?
I
think
mean,
we ought to test
it
ourselves
is-
with that.
I mean, you as a citizen needs to talk to this council. I can tell you, I've been here, we used to, all the former councilmen, even when Councilman Gallo was there, we used to have met with councilmen during CIP, individual councilmen go through CIP, and then they will say, yeah, I need something in my district, I need this, I need that. We stopped doing it, because the CIP means nothing. We go present to council, if you look at last couple of years budget, how much money we have? Oh, we can sell $20 million bond, divide among ourselves, forget about the CIP. So this is how we working, and when he was councilman, remember, we used to meet with individual councilmen, talk to the CIP, and say, what you need. We don't do it anymore, because they even don't wanna hear. Most of them don't wanna be present in 3 days workshop. They think it's too much for the budget.
So this committee is dealing only with water and
the
waste?
sewer. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's it?
But I mean, development fees, impact water availability, that's all, I would think that was in our purview, no?
Yes, everything related to the utilities, yes.
Again, you know, you don't wanna put it on the new builder. But if it, you know, you have to calculate at some point saying, all right, it's gonna take this much money to maintain the system for 50 years or whatever.
And that means we have to increase operational budget. As you can see, at the same time, every budget year comes, oh, it's a zero growth, so they just copy this year budget to next year. You can't add anything else. Last year, we didn't even have a meeting with the city manager. This is how we did budget last year. This year, Rosario and Roberts, they already start meeting, so, but they're already finding out, oh my God, whatever the budget was, it's gonna need double money.
Wait till next year.
Yeah.
Next year is gonna be a shock, 'cause it's just,
Yeah, we've
You're gonna be
been
capped at
getting
3.5%.
8% increase.
Mhm.
Next year will be 3.5. And then they wanna cut the property tax. They wanna do the homestead exemption. And at the same time, they wanna do all this thing of build the detox center, another $3 million. Okay? Police and fire is already $5 million. If you don't do anything, that's a $5 million.
gonna increase.
You know, and for those of you that know me, I'm Ruben Sines, and I work for Dimmitt Utility. We were the company that won the secondary water resource for the city of Laredo, like a decade ago. And I made a presentation at the request of Mayor Sines, and I told him at a council meeting that our company was ready, willing, and able to do the requirements of that RFP that was done over 10 years ago. And we're still in that position. But one of those things that if I could inject here, for instance, one of the things that was allowed by our financiers, that we could throw in 2 water towers into the proposal of the water. Our original concept was to bring the water to Laredo at point A, wherever that would be. And we were willing to split up the pipeline to get a point somewhere in the north side of Laredo and another point on the south side, and put 2 self-standing towers. You're talking about a difference of what it was gonna be, almost, 30 to at least possibly $40 million. Because water towers are expensive. And our banking folks said, look, include that, and you can pay it as you go when the use of the water is there. No money required, no anything. So in a way, it's like, you're not getting free money, but you're getting money to accomplish certain things that otherwise you'd have to pay from the city budget. But think about that. I'm just offering a suggestion that
But I don't understand.
this committee could acquire certain things by fulfilling some obligations that were.
The problem now is not, we have too much water, right?
Yeah, and see that, this is the what,
But you
I
have
keep-
water, you have spent a lot of money on permits for river water. See, and then you could almost get half of that money back with reclamation permits that you wouldn't have to pay for that water. See,
we
there's some.
already paid the water, we
Pardon?
own the water.
Correct.
So I know you've been keep saying that this is, you don't have to pay anything,
No,
but we still have to pay you for the
Yeah,
water.
it's take or pay, right?
It's a
no,
take or
sir.
pay.
You have to pay for the water you use when the water gets here.
But I'm just saying, so,
In other words, you don't have to pay for, say,
how many millions of gallons a day, minimum?
whatever the city would require. You could start off with 10 million, we could provide up to 40 million per day on a 60-inch or 72-inch pipeline coming to your city and deliver it at whatever point you want. See, I'm just saying that here's an opportunity where this committee can start breaking up your challenge or your charge as you were given by the city council. And, we can kick the can all we want down the road, but eventually, we don't have money from fees, we don't have money available for this, and I'm just offering an opportunity for you to rethink about.
So it has to come from the fees, and that's why I had presented last year to city council, looking at the David proposal, put some numbers, run some model on the rate. And we projected that if we wanna do this thing, if you fix your rate like 229, how much the rate will be increased? And it shows, it has to increase like 35%. I didn't see any single person over there voting it or making any motion, and then they charge me, oh, why is the secondary water source? I said, you didn't make any motion, didn't I present to you?
No, we're past that now. It's dead because of the water plant. You got, that money's spent, it's there, and it's gonna.
Yeah,
bond,
but you
what,
could
30,
use
25 more
that
years?
plant, you could use that plant to make more money. You really could.
To do what? We're not selling enough water there. We're not selling, they have it running at the minimum, right?
Yeah.
You have it running 20 million gallons a day?
We can produce, the Jefferson can produce 65, El Pico can produce 20. The last summer, the maximum we sold was 48 million gallons. That's why I don't enforce water conservation, sell more water, because we have water. If I don't sell
may
water,
ask-
I have to.
If I may ask, how much are you reclaiming back through reclamation permits, that water you don't have to pay for?
Well, that's what we were talking about earlier. I said, how much water, the water that, we're not reclaiming that we process the gray water. We're the only one of the few cities that actually return it to Rio Grande, and we don't get any credit for that. And that's what I was saying.
And why is it that you don't get credit for that?
Because we never looked for it. I'll be very frank with you. But now, because we
It's
didn't have
available.
demand for the effluent water, but now I see demand. One of the thing is council is looking at the sports complex in South Laredo. I look at the plan, I said, oh my God, this is gonna require almost 5 million gallons of water. Just for that sports complex. So I already talked to city manager, if we move forward, I'm gonna have an effluent use program from South Laredo. So I can bring 5 million gallon and save the 5 million gallon of fresh water, so I can provide some extra water to all the growth. Now we're looking at it before, the country club only takes 300,000, golf course, Casablanca takes 100,000. rest of the thing, we just dump it because we have no use.
But what about the reservoir?
I mean,
Storage.
Hmm?
if you reservoir money at Casablanca,
All, I've always said, can we make Casablanca a constant level lake by putting that in? I don't know at what level the water's treated. I would go north, anywhere along Columbia up there. You got some beautiful canyons that we could dam, make a new storage, new reservoir to be I know that's engineering to get the water back up there, but I'm saying you could have some canyons up there that would be beautiful, and then if you ever have a problem in the river, you reverse the flow.
even if you look at Lake Casablanca, that Casablanca is, is silted up so bad.
Yeah,
It doesn't even have probably
Yeah.
30% capacity.
Yeah.
20 feet in the middle of the lake.
So we can raise the lake
Yeah.
and have that one as a storage. But I think those are some of the things with the new master plan. I wanna see not just the numbers, look at the water, other revenue. And
Because
trans-
all that water that's going to the storm drains, like going over here that goes down McPherson, I said, I don't know what kind of engineering feat it would take to make it go to the lake instead.
we had looked at it,
Ton of water that goes there.
in part of, as you know, part of the Brown and Root study, when we did the Zacate master plan, we looked at it diverting all the water to Casablanca. At that time, it was, I remember, it was like $67 million. Put a tunnel underneath,
67?
$67 million.
And
But-
what year was that?
This is in 2003, 2004.
6 or 7 or 67?
67.
Six,
That's what I'm saying, so, yeah,
Because,
so it's not feasible. But I mean, all that north growth, you can say, okay, now we need to make it, divert it somehow. 'Cause-
I mean, it might not feasible, but at that time, if we start looking at it, you don't have to build this system completely, you just start doing slowly. I mean, you can divert all the stormwater like on the, those areas, those are already going there. You can add some other additional area, so you slowly
Yeah.
start building the
And
system.
that's what I'm saying, you gotta make, for that north start, Alexander, that may, probably too late for that, but as you start going north, in all of, what's,
The coves.
the coast or whatever, what's, couldn't think of anybody's name right now. Blackstone stuff,
Yeah.
But might as well.
make that, try to go, divert it somewhere where it's going to the lake all the time.
We keep pushing it down.
I said, we got extra water, that's what I really thought this committee was gonna be about, got extra water, let's pump the water into Zacate Creek and make it a San Antonio River, So you could put some weirs in there and then just.
Yeah.
the way they
And you
do it.
said there was a study done to create Zacate,
Remember that?
San Antonio River, nothing happened, so.
That was gonna be.
You
our
do have
secondary
excess
river.
water now,
And that
There
would
is
develop-
always
that
water
would
on the,
develop
on the,
big time.
on the creek.
and that really, you shouldn't even be charged because it's just taking a
Yeah.
shortcut going back to the river.
Just splitting it up.
Yeah, so, there's all kinds of, all it takes is money.
As we can see, for brevity, and I think we've gone beyond
Yeah.
the
I got
meeting
another
time,
meeting.
but, it's very interesting and what we need to do, but again, I need to hand them a hot potato with teeth on it. I don't want to just sit there, something has to happen. And we need to bring it up to them and say, hey, what are you doing with this? Because as we all know, that it's not functioning, the government is not functioning the way it should. And we as citizens are gonna pay for it, big time.
There's no person that does pay.
Yeah.
No, I had some plumbing work done in my house and I called the plumber, I said, hey, there's some crap in my, all my pipes, what y'all do? He said, nothing, we just changed out the water heater, the tankless, I said, well, I got black stuff, he said, yeah, it's all that poly pipe down at 35 coming into your house, I go, oh, shit. And my wife's complaining, so this morning I was cleaning all the taps.
Yeah, all the old galvanized pipe.
No, the poly.
Poly pipe,
Poly pipe.
poly pipe,
Yeah, I know
I mean, they're clogged up, that's how much is coming down our water lines. So now sprinkler heads?
That's only on the sewer side, no?
What?
The poly pipe?
So can I sue the city?
No, the sewer is all made.
No comment.
No, the poly pipe that they put in there, that's pumping sewer, or is that pumping?
Oh, this
Sewer.
one, yeah, that's the
Yeah,
bypass
that's only sewer.
Yeah, that's on the
Well,
sewer.
then where are we getting all the shavings from?
I don't know.
You next door neighbors.
I'm not feeding you sewer, sir. I'm feeding you fresh water.
Water had a kind of little tank into it this morning.
It's all the minerals.
All the minerals and vitamins in there.
Okay,
somebody
so
did some work somewhere.
what is next committee wants to see? You want me to present you the old master plan? At least you have
Well,
an idea.
I
we
will
need to
say
get
it.
rolling, yeah, I think we need to get rolling down here. We've been pushing this
And
thing.
as I
up
say,
for-
whatever number you see, you can easily multiply by 1.3 times.
Okay, and all your fees associated with development, so where are they at?
And I guess some of the previous projects that were presented, right? That's what we wanted to talk about, what's the reality of us moving forward?
Well, I would just like to get maybe,
I got the
Well,
2000
when we get to look at it, then we can probably add some stuff, project, but
I would like, we don't have an engineer, I mean, like maybe Judd or somebody, I mean, that can give us some real numbers. So like I say, you can't overburden the developer, or you just shut the growth down, and then you have no new customers.
That's right.
impact,
we,
and then a budget
I
just
know
for
we
the,
have
for
one
the engineer.
vacancy by Councilman Bali. Maybe he can appoint, because this committee also act as a impact fee committee. We need at least 4 people related to the development industry. Anything, either real estate counts, maybe an engineer. So,
I definitely think you need to have that input.
we used to have Kike, but then
Yeah, whatever.
Councilman also took him out.
Oh, do you know?
'Cause, so now, I know Judd is so busy, it's not, maybe somebody else.
Or else anybody, you know?
Yeah,
Just to give you an idea, cause whoever does residential lots, cause you need to know what it costs. Cause I have, like I said, I'm hearing numbers, is that, Memo, you don't know?
No,
150,000 an acre to develop lots? That sounds,
that's in the ballpark.
yeah. Yeah, that's a lot
Yeah,
of
what,
money.
7 lots doesn't make?
Yeah.
About 7 lots per acre.
No, well, it depends on what you know, I mean,
6 or 7, yeah.
Depending on.
Because
your lot
you only got
size.
43,000 square feet, and part of that
No, I
goes
know,
to,
yeah, but-
to the,
Yeah, we're getting them down to 3,500.
well, I'm saying over there, but I'm saying, that, you know, what you're doing up here, what is
5,500, 5,800.
How big are these lots?
6,000.
6,000, so I mean,
You
you're,
find
because
those
the-
7
You might
get
lots,
6
it's
lots.
a humongous one.
I can tell you because we buy pipe, from last year to this year, just the pipe went up 17%.
what,
The pipe, the PVC pipe.
PVC.
petroleum related, it should go down.
No, right, anything goes up, it never goes down, sir.
But all the PVC and everything's always going along with the price of gas.
Yeah.
I mean, the price, price of oil.
Oil down.
And oil
Because there's
well,
too much construction going on, so supply and demand.
No, supply and demand,
I mean, so chemical.
you'll probably see it start to knock down a little bit.
And Laredo is always a little bit higher because we are 150
Transportation.
miles from
Yeah.
nowhere.
End
And,
of the world.
yeah. Okay, and also I make a motion, so you wanna see what's on the next master plan? And all the fees. These are the two? Okay,
I mean, whatever's related to, you know, wherever you got income from.
okay. Fees.
Put that in form of motion, we'll get it over there so I can do it.
Okay, and we move that we see all with the CIP and all the fees generated for the utilities department.
If possible, I'd like to see some information before the next meeting so
Yeah,
that
we can
once,
just-
once we get here, we know a little bit about
Okay,
it.
fees I already have it because I provided to council. I will have Elsa email you
Okay.
the speed. It
So,
will see.
When you set the date, when you send us that packet.
No, let's set the date right now
What I'm
because
saying, but
we
when they
are.
send us the reminder like a week before or whatever, so we send us the
So
packet.
in July, what will be committee's choice? We can do July 17th, Wednesday. I know a lot of
I know
vacations.
I'm out in July, I don't know what days, so we'll have it in the calendar.
Let's shoot for the 17th right now,
Just in the middle of the month and
Yeah,
go from there.
and if we
Well,
don't,
let's-
if
let's-
any of us go back home and check our
Yeah.
schedules, put it as a white.
Okay, so July 17th at noon?
Yeah,
okay.
let's see if we can get Elsa to get it out to us by the 10th.
Okay. So we set the date or you still want us to
Yeah.
The 17th, let's go with that right now.
just put it in a motion so we have it recorded? Because what, as you see, the new protocol, they counsel, that's why all the recordings are done. They want, as you remember, if you miss 3 meetings, you are
You're out.
out.
Yeah.
So they wanna have this dates fixed, so if
Yeah,
member
I saw
doesn't
that
show
last-
up.
I saw that last night, yeah.
So, I didn't even know that. So we already have, I think one of the committee, he never showed up, so he's gonna be, next meeting, he's gonna be out.
So who appointed him, like you, that councilman, Thomas said, reappoint somebody?
Naples never showed up, any meeting.
Right, but who's the councilman that appointed him?
George
Have-
Orgel,
Who's that?
George Orgel,
Oh, George, I'll call George.
The George Mavis or who?
yes,
Yeah.
I wonder why.
because he was upset with his water rate.
So more reason to be here.
There you go.
More reason to be here.
Voice is concerned.
All right, with that, need a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second, all in favor? I'm on the fourth and fifth.
Thank you, guys. Enjoyed it.
Take care.
Hopefully,